Hello, good morning. Welcome to Brainx TV. Welcome to our live session this morning. And today we are going to choose a very important topic called the divisibility test. The divisibility test. So, join and let's get started. The divisibility test. If you're online, please give me a hi in the comment section and let me hear it from you so that we can kickstart our lesson. Father, please write in the comment section hi, so I will recognize you and then we make progress from here. All right, I've seen you there. How this arena? All right. Who else is online? Please get online and let's get started. All right, so let's start. The divisibility test. We talk about the divisibility test. It is a test that is run on numbers to know whether other numbers can divide them. Okay, so it's a test that you run on some numbers to identify how some other numbers can divide them. And by divisibility, a number is divisible if it can be divided with no remainder. So if there's any remainder after division, then the number is not divisible. If there's no remainder, that's when you can say it is divisible. We're going to run the divisibility test from 2 up to 9. We're going to cover the complete series under divisibility test this morning. Okay? Right, so we'll check for divisibility by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright. So we are about to start. Please share the link of the live to your friends to also join Brainx TV so we can get started. Alright, so if you're online, please write hi in the start in the comment section so that we can start it as fast as possible. Alright, so let's get started. We're starting with divisibility by 2. Alright, so we start with divisibility by 2. We are talking about divisibility by 2, and we mean that we will run the tests on a number given to check whether that number can be divided by 2 exactly and without any remainder. Okay, so it follows this simple rule that So we're saying that a number is divisible by 2 if the number ends with an even number. And by the even number, we mean the number ends with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. That is for divisibility by 2. So this is the only condition for divisibility by 2. And the number should end with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. If the number does not have any of these endings, then the number is not divisible by 2. But if it ends with any of these 5 numbers here, then the number is divisible by 2. Okay, let's take some examples. Alright. Alright, so we have this, our first example, which says, check for divisibility by 2. So for the customer is 346. So is this number divisible by 2? Please write the answer in the comment section. If it's divisible, just write divisible by 2. If it is not, write not divisible by 2. We're waiting for your responses. If the number 346 is divisible by 2, please write it up in the comment section that it is divisible by 2. If it is not 2, you write that it is not divisible by 2. Okay, I've seen it there, Nura Salifu. And please identify yourself by the name that I can call you with, please. We are saying that a number is divisible by 2 if the number ends with an even number. And by that, we mean the number should end with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And we have to check our first example there if the number is divisible by 2. So we have 346. So, Nura Salifu, please identify write your name so that I'll be able to know you better. You are saying it is divisible by 2. All right. Please, let's get involved. Let's get involved. Let's get involved in the lesson. All right, so Nora is saying that it is divisible by 2. All right, let us check it and see. So we are saying that a number is divisible by 2 if the number ends with an even number, as if it ends with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. We're going to check our last digit. Now, the last digit here is 6. I say that 6 is an even number. Because of that, we conclude that 346 is divisible by 2. Does everybody understand it? Alright, let's take the next example. $137. Please check whether it is divisible by 2. Check whether 137 is divisible by 2. Let's get involved. Let's get involved. Let's get active on the comment section to show our involvement. So you are living stream. Okay, so you want to be addressed by the name living stream. Oh, that's fine. All right, living stream. Let me hear from you. Is it Arina? Yeah, I'm sure it's Arina. Please let me hear from you. Get involved. Please let's get active on the comment section. Oh, why? Why are you leaving the stream? All right, let's get active. Let's get active on the comment section. All right. And so let's get involved. So the last digit here is 7. You know 7 is not an even number. Because 7 is not an even number, we're going to conclude that 137 is not divisible by 2. Does everybody understand it? Alright, let's try the third question. Yes. And show me. Okay, and I see you there. So let's take our third example. So let's try this example. Whether 280 is divisible by 2. Please let's get active in the comment section. And let's get involved. Check whether 280 is divisible by 2. Alright, so let's get to our solution. Since the last digit here is 0, and 0 is part of the set of even numbers, we can say that 280 is divisible by 2. Does everybody understand it? But let's move on to our next test. We're going to do divisibility by 3. Divisibility by 3. Now, let's get the rule for divisibility by 3, okay? I said that a number is divisible by 3 So I know it's divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is a multiple of 3 or is divisible by 3. So by this rule, we mean that for the number to be divisible by 3, you add up the digits in the number, okay? And the answer you get, if the answer you get is a multiple of 3, or is divisible by 3, then the whole number given you initially is divisible by 3. Hope you get it. So what you do is that you first of all add up all the digits in the number. If the sum of the digits is a multiple of 3, then the given number is a multiple of 3, or is divisible by 3. Okay? So let's take some examples and another one too. So check for divisibility by 3. Number 1. We are taking for 249. So it says that we should add up the digits in the number. Alright, so here we go. We are going to get, so for our solution, we're going to add up the digits here. We get 2 plus 4 plus 9. Okay? And 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. And 6 plus 9 is equal to 15. So the answer is equal to 15. Now, is 15 divisible by 3? Yes, because 3 can divide 15 5 times. And by implication, 3 times 5 is equal to 15. So since 15 is divisible by 3, then that means that 249 is divisible by 3. Okay? So we write our conclusion. That since 15 is divisible by 3, then 249 is divisible by 3. So I have to understand it. Alright, so we added up the digits in the number and we got 15. Now since 15 is a multiple of 3, you can see that we can conclude that since 15 is divisible by 3, then 249 is also divisible by 3. Please help me understand it. If you don't understand it, please write it up in the comment section so that I can address it for you. Yes, this lesson is for basics 4 and 5. Okay. The lesson is for basic 4 and basic 5. All right. Thank you. All right. Please, do you all understand what you are doing? You understand the lessons? We are checking for divisibility by 3. And the rule says that a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. Now, you have our first example, which says you should check for divisibility by 3 for 249. Okay. So, per the solution, we added up the digits 2, 4, and 9. So we added up 2, 4, and 9 over here, okay? And we saw that we got 15. And 15 is divisible by 3. And because of that, we conclude that since 15 is divisible by 3, then 249 is also divisible by 3. I hope you get it. Let's take our next example. Example 2. $382. So you have to check for the divisibility by 3 for 382. So let us try it up first. Let's try it up and see if the number is divisible by 3. Nura Salif, welcome back. So let's get to work. I check for the divisibility by 3 for 382. If it is divisible by 3, please write in the comment section that it is divisible by 3. And if it is not 2, you write that it's not divisible by 3. Yes, waiting for your responses. Waiting for the response. Let's get active on the comment section. Please, for those who want to Those who want to answer and are not able to, please subscribe first, okay? If you have not subscribed to the channel, you cannot use the comment section for your responses. So please, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Brainx TV so that you get access to get yourself engaged in our lesson, okay? If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so that you can be able to give out your responses to the questions. All right. So let's get to the solution. So for the divisibility by 3, as you know already, we are supposed to add up the decades in the number. All right. So to our solution, we get 3 plus 8 plus 2. Okay. And 3 plus 8 is equal to 11. 11 plus 2 is equal to 13. So the sum of the decades is 13. Now, is 13 divisible by 3? You can see that no, because 3 will divide 13 but with a remainder of 1. So 13 is not a multiple of 3. Now, since 13 is not a multiple of 3, we're going to conclude that since 13 Alright, so we added decades and got 13. So we conclude that since 13 is not a multiple of 3, then 382 is not divisible by 3. Okay? Since it's not a multiple of 3, and 382 is also not divisible by 3. Because I hope you all understand it. Alright. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Please, if there's something you don't understand, please write it up in the comment section. And if you're not able to use the comment section, please subscribe to Brainx TV first so that you can be able to use the comment section. And let's move on to divisibility by 4. So divisibility by 4. So we are saying that the rule is that a number is divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits of the number is divisible by 4, or it's a multiple of 4. Okay? A number is divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits of the number is divisible by 4. Alright, so let's write the rule down. Okay, so over here, the issue of concern is that the last 2 digits of the number should be divisible by 4. Alright, let's take an example to back it up. We're going to check the divisibility by 4 for the following. So check for divisibility by 4. Check for divisibility by 4 for the following. 612. So which number is formed by the last 2 digits? We may ask ourselves. So the number formed by the last 2 digits here is 12. So that's the answer. Is 12 divisible by 4? Or is 12 a multiple of 4? Now, if 12 is a multiple of 4, then the number 612 is divisible by 4. Okay. So we know that 4 can divide 12 3 times, because 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So since 12 is divisible by 4, then 612 is divisible by 4. That's our conclusion that since 12 is divisible by 4, then 612 is then 612 is divisible by 4. Please, I hope you understand it. If you understand it, please write up in the comment section. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Brainx TV so you can use up the comment section. Okay? Subscribe to Brainx TV so that you can use up the comment section. Okay, so let's take our next example. So let's try this together. Check for divisibility by 4 for 728. Check for divisibility by 4 for 728. Check for divisibility by 4 for 728. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. And please, we are not checking for divisibility by 4, okay? And please read the rule backing divisibility by 4 so I can be able to apply it to the question given. I said that a number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits of the number is divisible by 4 or is a multiple of 4. Okay? If we do the first example, the last digit from here was 12. Okay? So since 12 is divisible by 4, then 612 is also divisible by 4. Alright. Let's try the second example that check whether 728 is divisible by 4. Okay? So just apply the rule. Look for the last two digits. If it is divisible by 4, then you can conclude that it is divisible by 4. If it is not divisible by 4 too, you conclude that it's not divisible by 4. Okay? So let's get to work. Let's get to work. Please like the class, like the lessons, and share the link of the videos as well to your friends so they can all join and together we will learn mathematics with ease. So that we can together say that mathematics is the easiest subject ever to be taught in schools. Okay? And get yourself involved in the class by using a comment section. So let's get to the solution. We will check out for the last two digits of the number, and that is 28. So we ask ourselves, is 28 divisible by 4? And we can see that yes, it is divisible by 4 because 4 times 7 is equal to 28. Therefore, 4 will divide 28 7 times. Okay. So since 28 is divisible by 4, then our conclusion is going to be that So you can go that since 28 is divisible by 4, or 20 is a multiple of 4, then 728 is divisible by 4. Does that help you understand it? Let's try our last one, our last example. Let's try 542. Check the divisibility by 4 for 542. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Check for divisibility by 4 for 542. Check for divisibility by 4 for 542. Please use the comment section to get involved in the class, to interact in the class, okay? Make use of the comment section. Alright, so let's get to the solution. So we are looking at the last two delegates. And the number formed by the last two delegates is 42. Now, 42 is not divisible by 4. Because 4 cannot divide 42 exactly. Okay? So since 42 is not divisible by 4, it's not a multiple of 4, then we conclude that 542 is not divisible by 4. So write our conclusion that since 42 is not a multiple of 4, then 542 is not divisible by 4. So that we understand it. Alright, let's move on to divisibility by 5. Divisibility by 5. Okay. Okay. So let's be taking the divisibility by 5. They are saying that the rule for divisibility by 5 is this. And it's very simple. It says a number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is 0 or 5. That's all. Okay? If the last digit is 0 or 5, then the number is divisible by 5. Alright. Let us take some examples to back it up. To back up on our session. So we are saying we're divisibility by 5 for the following one. 975. Now, for the divisibility by 5, you said that the last digit should be 5 or 0. 0 or 5. Okay. Now, we check out the last digit here. The last digit here is 5. So since the last digit here is 5, we're going to conclude that 975 is divisible by 5. Okay? The last digit is 5. So you just conclude that the number 975 is divisible by 5. Simple. No need to show any workings, do any additions for divisible by 5. Alright? Let's look at a second example. $460. Now check whether it is divisible by 5. Please try it out and let's see. Paparazzi photos, you are welcome. You're welcome to our live class. I'm sure this is Maggie. You're welcome to the class. You can stay with us so we learn together. So please check for the divisibility by 5 for the number 460. Check whether it is divisible by 5. Yes, any contribution? Yes, any intake on the question? Check for the divisibility by 5 for 460. Alright, so let's find the solution. Now, in 460, the last digit of 460 is 0. And it meets up the condition for the divisibility by 5. And the last digit should be 0 or 5. Let me check here. Sorry about that. The last digit. So the last digit is what you're looking at. So the last digit here is 0. So since the last digit is 0, we could just conclude that 460 is divisible by 5. Does everyone understand? Alright, let's take the next example. $479. I check whether it is divisible by 5. So you can see that the last digit here is 9, which is not 0 or 5. So you conclude straight away that 179 is not divisible by 5. Does that you understand? Alright, then our last example. 6,024. 6,024. I take whether it is divisible by 4. So over here you can see the last digit here is 4. Alright, which is not 0 or 5. So you conclude that 6,024 is not divisible by 5. Alright. So that is for divisibility by 5. Any question? Any concerns so far? Any concerns so far? Looking at divisibility by 5. We've stated the rule and we've solved 4 examples. And we've explained why they are divisible and why they are not divisible. Alright, so let's move on to divisibility by 6. Okay? So divisibility by 6. If there's any concern, please write it up in the comment section. It will be addressed to your understanding. Okay? We can do it by 6. So we say that for the rule, and then we do so by 6, if the number so the number is divisible by 6, if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. The emphasis is on both 2 and 3. Both 2 and 3. So that's the only condition for divisibility by 6. A number is divisible by 6 if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. Alright, so let's take examples to back this up. So take by 6 for 312. So we looked at divisibility by 2 already and divisibility by 3. I'm just going to apply it, the two of them, in the divisibility by 6. Okay? Right, now, so this 312 should be divisible by 2. So we are going to check with divisibility by 2. Okay? And for divisibility by 2, we are saying that a number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is an even number. And by the even number, we mean it should be 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Now, since the last digit here is 2, then we can jot one point down that it is divisible by 2. That's not our conclusion. This will help us to get our conclusion. Alright. So, first of all, we can see that it is divisible by 2. Now, let's take the next one. It is divisible by 3. So, for the divisibility by 3, we're going to add up the negative because it says a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the negates is a multiple of 3 or is divisible by 3. Okay, so for the divisible by 3, we're going to add up the negative in the number. So you get 3 plus 1 plus 2. Then 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. And 6 is a multiple of 3. So that means that our second point also holds that 312 is divisible by 3. Okay, so for the divisibility by 2, we've checked that it is divisible by 2. For the divisibility by 3, we check that it is divisible by 3. So we can now conclude that 312 is divisible by 6. I hope you understand it. Let me go over it again. We are saying that a number is divisible by 6 if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. So that means that if the number is divisible by 2 but it's not divisible by 3, then the number is not divisible by 6. Okay? If the number is not divisible by 2 but is divisible by 3, so the number is not divisible by 6. The number is divisible by 6 if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. So we take one example here, 312. So we check for the divisibility by 2 and saw that since the number ends with 2, then 312 is divisible by 6. So we check that one. And for the divisibility by 3, it says you should add up the digits. If the answer that we get is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. So we added up 3, 1, and 2, so we get 3 plus 1 plus 2, that's equal to 6. Now, since we've gotten 6, and now 6 is divisible by 3, then you can see that 312 is also divisible by 3. So in the first instance, it is divisible by 2, next instance, it is divisible by 3. So since 312 is divisible by 2 and 3, we can conclude that 312 is divisible by 6. So understand it. If there's any question, please write it up in the comment section and let it be addressed. If there's any concern, please write it up in the comment section so it will be addressed to your understanding. Hope we can move on. All right, let's try another example. This for our first example. Let's try out the second example here. So number 2. $155. We are taking with divisibility by 6. So first of all, it says that we should take with divisibility by 2 and divisibility by 3. let's check the divisibility by 2. We've seen that a number is divisible by 2 if the last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. But considering the last digit over here, the last digit here is 5. That means that 455 is not divisible by 2. So straight away we can conclude straight, because one of the conditions are flawed, that for divisibility by 2, let me use D by 2, it has been flawed over here because the number is not divisible by 2. So if it's not divisible by 2, then there's no need for us even second one divisibility by 3. We just conclude that 455 is not divisible by 6. Is that you can understand it? Two conditions should be met: divisibility by 2 and divisibility by 3. But for the very first instance, the number is not divisible by 2. That means automatically it's not divisible by 6. So you can just conclude that 455 is not divisible by 6. And your work is very correct. Do you understand? Let's try another example here. Number 3. $849. Okay. 849. Alright. Okay, 849. Let's go. So we are going to check for the result by 2 first. So to check for the result by 2, the number ends with a 9. And since the last digit is not an even number, we just conclude straight away that 849 is not divisible by 6. Straight. You don't waste time at all. I hope you get it. Alright, let's take our last example to see how that one too will go. So let's take our third example here. That's our fourth example rather. Alright, so number 4. 742. 742. I check what the result by 6 was 742. Okay. We'll check what the result by 3 first. I can see that the last digit ends with 2, which are the even number. Okay. So divisibility by 2 has been checked. It meets it. Okay. The condition is met for the result by 2. Now we're going to check for the result by 3. So we're going to add up the digits and see whether our answer is going to be a multiple of 3. So you get 7 plus 4 plus 2. Okay. And 7 plus 4 is equal to 11. 11 plus 2 is equal to 13. Is equal to 13. And 13 is not a multiple of 3. Okay. 13 is not a multiple of 3. So because of that, divisibility by 3 was not met. Okay. Although the divisibility by 2 was met, but the divisibility by 3 was not met. So we're going to conclude that 742 is not divisible by 6. Okay. Because one of the conditions was not met. So you conclude that 742 is not divisible by 6. Is that you understand it? Alright. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Please, if there's anything you don't understand, please don't waste time at all. Write it up in the comment section. Let us go through it together. Okay? If there's any challenge anywhere, please notify it in the comment section, and then it will be addressed to your utmost understanding. Or let's move on to divisibility by 7. All right, divisibility by 7. I wrote it again because the rule is a bit lengthy, but it's very simple. Okay, let's write the rule. I say that a number all right. Okay, let me put it this very quick. Okay, so the rule is a bit lengthy, but it's very simple. I'll it to you. It's a very simple rule. I'm saying that another is divisibility by 7. A number is divisible by 7 if the double of the last digit is subtracted from the remaining number and the result is 0 or a multiple of 7. Let me take it again. A number is divisible by 7 if the double of the last digit, so the double of the last digit is subtracted from the remaining number and the result is 0 or a multiple of 7 or is divisible by 7. Alright. Now this will take a few steps. Let me just explain this to you in some 2 or 3 simple steps. So let's look at the explanation. 1. Let's explain this. So 1, you have to double the last digit. That's why it says a double of the last digit. So double the last digit. Okay. Then 2, subtract All right, so This rule has been explained over here. Now, one, double the last digit. Okay, you find the double of the last digit. Then two, subtract the answer you get from double the last digit from the number remaining. Okay, then it will check with the divisibility. Let's take an example. So check for divisibility by 7 for the following. Check for divisibility by 7 for the following. 1. Let's take 161. So we're going to follow these steps. So this is what we do. 1. You will double the last digit. Okay. So the last digit, so by the points, the last digit 1 times 2. That will give you 2. Okay. When you take the last digit from here, you'll be left with 16. Okay. So the remaining number is 16. You get 16. Then you subtract the result of the remaining number. So the remaining number is 16. So you subtract the 2 from 16 to get 16 minus 2. That's equal to 14. Now you check if this answer here is a multiple of 7. Okay. And is 14 a multiple of 7? Yes. 14 is a multiple of 7. Because 14 is a multiple of 7, we now conclude that 161. Hello? Are you welcome back? Sorry for the disconnection. Hello. Hello? Please write up in the comment section if you can hear me. There was a disconnection in the network, so please, if you are back, just write hi in the comment section so I will know that you are back. Hello? 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 Sorry for the loss in our connection. So let me go over what we have done so far so that we can catch up. So we're looking at divisibility by 7. We start our first example, 161. And for the explanation that we gave to the rule for divisibility by 7, we are saying that, first of all, double the last digit. Okay? So we double the last digit here. So we multiply 1 by 2 to give us 2. Alright? And we subtract the answer from the remaining number. Now if you take the last digit away, we're left with 16. So we subtract our answer from 16. So we get 16 minus 2. And 16 minus 2 is equal to 14. And we have seen that 14 is divisible by 7. Because 14 is divisible by 7, that would mean that 161 is also divisible by 7. That's why it says double the last digit, subtract it from the remaining digit, and the result should be 0 or a multiple of 7. That will show that the number is divisible by 7. You have to understand it. Then we looked at our second example, the number 825. It says that, so first of all, we have to double the last digit. The last digit here is 5. So doubling 5 will give us 10. Okay? Now, as doubling the last digit, we take the last digit away, the number remaining here is 82. Okay? We subtract our answer from 82, so we get 82 minus 10, which is equal to 72. Alright. We are not so sure about 72 being divisible by 7. So you can run the test again on what we have over here. So you run the test again on the 72. So still, we double the last digit, so we get 2 times 2. And now 2 times 2 gives us 4. And if we take the last digit, we left with 7. We're going to subtract 4 from 7. So you subtract 4 from 7. 7 minus 4 gives us 3. Now you are basing on the results here to write whether it is divisible or not. Remember that 3 is not divisible by 7. No whole number will multiply 7 to give you 3. So 3 is not divisible by 7. And by then we can conclude that 825 is not divisible by 7. Does everyone understand it? Please, if there's anything you don't understand, please write up in the comment section so I will address it for you before we move on to the next divisibility that we have. Is there any concern? If you are there and you understand, you want us to make progress, please write, let's move on so that we can move on, okay? If there's no concern and you understand what we've done so far, please write up in the comment section, let's move on. Then we can make progress. All right, we have more tests to look at. Divisibility by 8 and divisibility by 9. Before we can bring our class to a close. So if you understand the divisibility by 7, divisibility by 7, please write up in the comment section and let's make progress, okay? All right, let's move on then to divisibility by 8. So divisibility by 8. You're saying that a number is divisible by 8. A number is divisible by 8. If the last 3 digits of the number so that a number is divisible by 8 if the last 3 digits of the number is divisible by 8 or is a multiple of 8. So that is the condition for divisibility by 8. A number is divisible by 8 if the last 3 digits of the number is divisible by 8 or if the last 3 digits of the number is a multiple of 8. Okay? Alright, so let's move on to take some examples and the divisibility by 8. Okay, so for examples, it says check for divisibility by 8 for the following. Check for divisibility by 8 for the following. And we have the number 424. And note that the rule says if the last 3 digits of the number, is divisible by 8. And unfortunately for us, we have only 3 digits. So we're going to divide 424 by 8 to see if this number is divisible by 8. Okay? So you can use the long division method. Let us all use the long division method together. Okay? So you get 424 divided by 8. Now, how does 8 divide 4? 8 is bigger than 4, so 8 cannot divide 4. Okay? Well, we are going to add our second digit to make it 42. How does 8 divide 42? And we know that 8 divide 42 5 times. So write 5 up here. Then you multiply these two numbers, 8 and 5. Then you subtract from 42. Okay? So 8 times 5 is equal to 40. Then you subtract 40 from 42. Now 42 minus 40 is equal to 2. Okay? Then we will bring down our next digit, which is 4. Now how many times will 8 divide 24? 8 will divide 24 3 times. 8 times 2 is equal to 24. Then you subtract. So if you get 0, 0, 8 has been able to divide 424 53 times. So we are going to conclude that 424 is divisible by 8. That's why we have been given only 3 digits, or this way. Then just use the non-division method to divide to check out. Alright, let's look at the next example. Example 2. 5,748. $5,748. You have to find, check with the divisibility by 8 for this number. So you're going to look at the last 3 digits because you said the last 3 digits. You don't forget that we use of this because this is a 3 digit number. And so if you take the last 3 digits, then it's not like the number itself. But when there are 4 digits, you are taking the last 4 digits of the number. Okay. So the last 3 digits of the number here is 748. So we will check for 8 divided 748. Alright. So let's use our long division method again. So we can compare the steps. So we get 748 divided by 8. Now, how times will 8 divide 7? 8 is greater than 7, so 8 cannot divide 7. Alright? 8 cannot divide 7 because 8 is greater than 7. So you are going to add up the next number 4 to make it 74. You ask ourselves, how times will 8 divide 74? And 8 divide 74 9 times. Because 8 times 9 is equal to 72. Okay. So So 8 divides 74 9 times. 8 9 is equal to 72. Now 74 minus 72 is equal to 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, and 7 minus 7 is equal to 0. So we add our 8 over here to make it 28. Now, how that's 8 divided 28? 8 divided 28 3 times. Now 8 times 2 is equal to 24. And 28 minus 24 is equal to 4. Now there is a remainder of 4. Since there is a remainder of 4, we can conclude that so go 5,748 is not divisible by 8. So you understand it. Over here there was no remainder. We saw that it was divisible by 8. But over here there was a remainder of 4. And since there's a remainder, we will conclude that 5,748 is not divisible by 8. Alright, let's move on to our subheading for the day: divisibility by 9. It's after this class, the videos will be posted up on YouTube again so that you can represent the class and understand and cross-check the video so that you can, anything you don't understand will be explained to you over again. Okay? Alright. So let's go to the divisibility by 9. And this is the rule. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum so I said that a number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. So this is very similar to the rule for divisibility by 3. Okay? A number is for 3, a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. There's a multiple of 3. And for 9 too, the rule is that if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. Okay? It is almost like a repetition of divisibility by 3. So let's take some examples and the divisibility by 9. Let's say 648. We are taking the divisibility by 9 for 648. So, per the rule, we're going to add up the digits in the number. And if the answer we get is a multiple of 9, then we conclude that it is divisible by 9. Okay? No, if it's not, we conclude that it's not divisible by 9. Alright, so let's add up and see. We have 6 plus 4 plus 8. Now 6 plus 4 is equal to 10. And 10 plus 8 is equal to 18. Okay. Now, is 18 divisible by 9? Is 18 divisible by 9? You can say that 18 is divisible by 9. Because 9 can divide 18 2 times. Because 9 times 2 is 18. So since 9 times 2 is equal to 18, you conclude that 648 is by 9. Alright? Okay. You can even move a step further. If you get a 2-digit number, add it up again and see. If you add it again and the answer is finally 9, then it is divisible by 9. If you add it again and the answer is not 9, the number is not divisible by 9. Let's take a second example. 7,375. I take the divisibility by 5 for this number. Alright. So we go again, we add up the digits. Now, get 7 plus 3 plus 7 plus 5. Okay? 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. 10 plus 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. So 10 plus 12 is equal to 22. We are not even sure whether it is divisible by 9 or not. So you can again add up this number, the digits in this number again. Okay? To get 2 plus 2. Now 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. You know that 4 is not divisible by 9. We're going to conclude that 7,375 is not divisible by 9. So we get it. So when you did that, better check it, so that the answer was 4. If you had done it for this one, the person 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. Let me show it up here. 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. And 9 is divisible by 9. That's why 18 was divisible by 9. Therefore, 648 was also divisible by 9. Okay. Alright. Let me give you a bonus lesson, then we will end our class. Divisibility by 10. A very simple concept that we can all understand. This is a bonus for the day, okay? Divisibility by 10. I'm saying that a number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is 0, flat, okay? The last digit should be 0. If the last digit is not 0, the number is not divisible by 10, okay? Alright, let's take about 2. Let's use this same example to check for divisibility by 10. Okay. So divisibility by 10. Looking at the last digit over here, the last digit here is 8, and 8 is not 0. So we conclude that 648 is not divisible by 10 straight away. This one doesn't need any calculations, any long things. That's an example. $1,490. Now, since the last digit here is 9, we conclude that 1,490 is divisible by 10 because it goes to 0. Alright, now the last example, 8,077. So what's the conclusion here? Let's take out the conclusion for 8,077. Okay? Is it divisible by 10? Alright, so our last digit here is 7. And since 7 is not 0, we'll be at 8,077 is not divisible by 10. Ladies and gentlemen, come to the end of our live class for today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you found value in our lesson for today. If you did, please do give us a like or a thumbs up. Share the link of the videos to your friends, and as well subscribe to Brainx TV for more time to learn mathematics the easiest way as you just examined. So you can together say that mathematics is the easiest subject ever to be taught in schools. See you in our next live class. Bye. All right, so the class has ended. Please note that the videos will be uploaded on the channel, so you can visit it at any time at your own convenient time, and get yourself updated with the lessons that we've done for today. Bye.